Terminator Dark Fate. Oh boy. This movie has basically come and gone already, but I have to give my 2 cents on it because it's a new Terminator movie, and that means it's going to be a new wonderful film that you're going to cherish forever. Let me tell you the plot and you can guess which one it's from. We follow a seemingly insignificant person who is soon joined by 2 beings from the future that pop out at time-traveling energy balls. One of them is there to protect our antagonist, and the other is there to be a murdering-ass robot that's there to hunt them down. Then we start up a big chase of a film with tons of explosions and guns and fire and everything that makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside. We now have 6 different Terminator movies. We've got the first Terminator, which I love because it's basically a slasher film with a whole ton of Arnold Schwarzenegger robot madness. And then the sequel is pretty much one of the best action films ever. It's exactly what I want out of an action movie. There are a lot of really good sequences, but most of the movie when you rewatch you find is just the characters hanging out and spending time with one another. Then there's Rise of the Machines, which is silly and fun, and I will always defend it because it's the first Terminator movie that I saw, and that pretty much set the standard for me. So that can explain my opinion overall here. Next, we have Terminator Salvation, the 4th one. The only one that doesn't follow the same exact plot that I just described and actually takes place in the future, in the shit, with the robots, rounding people up, people getting sliced left and right. I love it. I mean, I don't actually love it, but I think it's an okay movie because it's like Terminator meets Mad Max. It's a lot going on, and it's really loud and obnoxious. Genesis, we don't talk about. And now here we are, Terminator Dark Fate, the one that's gonna turn it all around, just like the title suggests. Even as a diehard fan, I have to admit that there are some glaring issues with these films that are really hard to get over. And the problem with Terminator Dark Fate is that it makes all of the same mistakes that the previous films did. In fact, this one, I don't know if anyone else caught this, this feels like an amalgamation of all of the other ones. Like, we have the big chase in the beginning of this film that feels a hell of a lot like the beginning of Terminator 3, and then we also have pretty much the same kind of robot person, kind of, I mean not the same but close enough, from Salvation. And then Genesis, well, just this one feels way too much like, hey, let's reboot it. It's been decades now. We're focusing on the same small thing that worked in 2 movies as opposed to building and growing. I feel like everyone who comes aboard these projects just decides, oh hey, we can do the same thing again, but we'll put like an explosion over here instead of over there, and everyone will go, oh my god, they're back! But no, we weren't fooled that easily this time. No, which is unfortunate because I really think this movie just did not have a single chance. We were done with this before it ever came out. Remember this image? Remember this one that gave us a whole lot of hope for this movie to be good and to finally get the franchise on track? Yeah, well, it's not as bad as that, but I have to say this one just unfortunately makes all the same wrong moves that is so frustrating. I had to see this one a second time before reviewing it, which is why this is so late. I know no one cares anymore at all about Terminator Dark Fate, but I'm sorry, mini tangent, but what I get so annoyed of when I see these stupid movies, it feels like anything that has a large budget, that is actually planned on being released theatrically, happens to be written by one of the same 10 people, and it's just like the same 10 screenwriters writing the same damn movie and a whole bunch of different franchises, and it's like we're so sick of it. We are over getting the same damn stupid thing. This is so annoying. We keep saying as fans with each and every one of these installments that comes out, wow, so much material to work with, yet they completely waste all of it. Literally all of it. They just throw everything away. It makes no sense. I'm like, why don't we just get a movie around the robots like actually taking over? and like Sarah Connor being prepared and like meeting the rise of whoever runs the resistance and stuff. I mean, I just think we have so much to explore in this world. We should be moving forward as opposed to focusing on the same damn movie over and over. Okay, so let me like actually get into talking about this movie. The plot is mostly as explained, but wait, there's more, because this time we have both Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton reprising their iconic roles in this film. Well, kind of for Schwarzenegger, but he's also popped back up over the movies, so it's like that's not really refreshing. And also James Cameron is back on board. He's not worried about ruining his impeccable reputation with all of those Avatar movies coming out. But, you know, he's also told us that another Terminator movie was going to be great. So, you know, and, you know, Tim Miller's directing, who made one good movie, so we should care. So, obviously, you know, recipe for disaster. There is plenty that I really enjoy about this film, and as a diehard who isn't expecting a whole lot that can have a lot of fun with a stupid action movie, I would say I overall like this movie. Not really much of a high bar to cross, as I explained earlier, so, you know, if you're a Terminator fan, you should know what to expect from that. But there are things I like, but the more I think about it, there are just so many stupid character developments through this film that just really annoyed me. I really could not stand it. So, you know, I'm going to get into it. But let me start with the Terminator. I want to talk about the Terminator in this movie because I think the actor Gabriel Luna, who played the Terminator, the Rev 9, this new one, cool. He was good. I like the different accents he does. That's cool stuff. But the Rev 9 itself is cool. It's like a Terminator from the original, but then it also has that inky goo whateverness of T2, so it can split into two Terminators. And that gets cool through some of the big sequences where we have our two as one Terminators fighting together, and, you know, Terminators, they don't fuck around, so that's, you know, intense. The violence feels incredibly light in this film. Like, this film feels very PG-13 in a lot of ways. Like, the violence is light, they don't swear a whole lot, there's some, but, you know, they shoot around the nudity. It just feels toned down, and that's really fucking lame for a Terminator movie. As far as our other character, Grace, that comes from the future, she's played by Mackenzie Davis, and I love her. If you have not watched *Halt and Catch Fire*, watch *Halt and Catch Fire*. She's been so good in so many things, and I feel like she keeps getting these roles that really go nowhere. Like, the movies always bomb, and it's like, God damn it, Blade Runner 2049 was so good! I was really hoping this could be her franchise where she could be a badass, because she is such a badass in this movie. And of course, Mackenzie Davis does a great job. But especially on second watch, I found myself having a problem with Grace, because Grace herself, throughout the whole film, she's trying to remind you what a badass she is. She literally stops and says that a lot. She's constantly bickering with Sarah Connor, the Queen. It's kind of really frustrating throughout this movie. Sarah Connor is pretty much sidelined. She's kind of tagging along in someone else's movie. And I feel like we just like completely ditch all respect for Sarah Connor, which is super annoying because Sarah Connor is iconic for a reason. And so to just have your new characters run in and be like, fuck off, bitch. You're like, really? We're doing that? We should be working together as a team. I don't understand this. We get to a point towards the end of the film where I would have liked that character work to have built us up to this moment where we do have this team working together in a big sequence. Yet I didn't feel like we enjoyed our time with one another in the hour and a half leading up to this. I'm like, honestly, I feel like these people could walk away from each other any moment and be a lot happier. It's so disappointing. But I have to say, Linda Hamilton, just her acting alone, it is so cool to see her not just show up and be in the film, but she like is Sarah Connor again. And that alone really is worth seeing the film. Like I said, Sarah Connor is iconic. I love her as a character, and it was a big deal to me to be able to see her back in action. However, most of the action is what you saw in the trailer. That's like the opening of the movie, and then That's all the badassness gone. All of the love and respect for iconic Sarah Connor gone. Arnold, can't forget how cool he is. So he's back and he's a Terminator again. And honestly, I have to give him credit because I think audience as a whole, especially as I've grown up, people looked at him as just the Terminator and thought he was just sort of this robotic, beefy guy that can't really act and was just the Terminator. But actually, especially after seeing as many movies as he's made and seeing him return to the role, you see that he's really created a character that he performs really well. I actually respect him probably the most in this one, and I respect all of his previous performances that much more now. But here, he has the opportunity to be funny, which I often harp on films that pause to be funny. It was my least favorite thing with last year's Halloween reboot that has similar things in common with this one. But here we have these hilarious moments with Arnold Schwarzenegger where his lines are just top notch. But I can't stand what they do with his character. Is it like in the way that they pit him against Linda Hamilton is so annoying. And the plot developments of this film, which I know everyone hates, but I felt like that was just the wrong way to go. Arnold should have just been like the main helper that pops up. And the way they set up the film, he is, but then also, yeah, you know, it's just like they keep these characters fighting with one another, and I'm like, God damn it, just be a good team. Why do people suck? And so we have to get to our last character, who is, you would obviously think, the most forgotten sideline person. You know, the character that this is completely all about now. Danny Ramos, played by Natalia Reyes, who I thought did a pretty good job. The first time I saw this movie, I was like, you know what, honestly, that's cute, but I'm good. The second time, I really enjoyed her performance, and I really enjoyed she has some big moments, especially towards the end, which of course I know I won't spoil, but I really liked it the first time, and I was like, oh, cool, I'm into this. And then seeing it the second time and really getting a feel for her character, I really enjoyed her and would like to see a franchise that fleshes out this character. But bummer, this movie really didn't do the actual work with her in this one, and it's a bummer that that falls on an actress's shoulder because she did a good job with the material, and like I said, I fell in love with her by the end of it and was like, you could be the new Sarah. I would like to have both of you. And unfortunately, the movie just does a complete disservice to this character, which is so stupid. If you're trying to build a new franchise around this character, that probably shouldn't be the number one person that you forget about. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've been ranting and raving and just venting. So that's, I guess, what you can consider this review. It's just a big old vent session for me personally. But I know a lot of us have a lot of feelings about Terminator Dark Fate. And for the most part, we're just frustrated. We're frustrated and irritated with this franchise just continuously making poor decisions. And I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't think it should be that difficult. But maybe it is, and maybe we should just say goodbye to Terminator. Maybe it's time. And I have to say, if it is, well, we went out on a fine note. Yeah, it is just fine. But you know what? I'm going to give Terminator Dark Fate a 3 out of 5 because I do overall enjoy it, and I won't have a problem adding it to my Blu-ray collection and marathon times for Terminator. I'll have no problem watching all of them except Genesis. That's it. I'm gonna stop. It's over. I'm done. And there's hopefully, maybe, I don't know, we'll see what happens with the future of Terminator. Probably gonna be a while. That'd be really sad if very soon I'm doing the same exact review again. Oh God. It's like the cyclical nature of the franchise. It's gonna happen like 3 years. 3 years, that's bad. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate that too. But I'd even appreciate you sharing this with your friends a whole lot more because, you know, maybe they'd actually watch it. Maybe not. Hit the comments below to let me know what you hated the most about Terminator Dark Fate, or if you kind of liked it like me, you can also let me know about that. So thanks again. I'll see you in my next video.